G'day to all my friends and family, and welcome to this episode of Jim's 5am Club. What I'd love to do today on this most magnificent Sydney winter's day, we've just been blessed with blue skies, sunshine and just gentle breezes. Just a perfect way to spend a winter's day. So what I'd like to do today is go through a book, and the book that I've selected for this specific episode is entitled How to Decide, a book that was published on the 13th of October 2020 by an author named Annie Duke. She kicks off with a beautiful quote, and the quote is as follows: "You can't control outcomes. You can only make the best decisions possible with the information you have at hand at that particular point in time." So this is a beautiful point, because many of us are tortured over every choice we make, worrying and playing the what if in our heads, tying our self-worth to whether things actually turn out right. But this author, Duke, she flips the script and reminds us that it's not about perfection. It's all about the process. It's about learning how to think, not just how to react. And reading this book enables us to feel like finally having someone take our hand and say, "Hi, it's okay not to know or to be 100% certain, but let's learn how to choose better." So let's see what we can learn, what we can glean, and what we can take from this book, and what we can incorporate into our own inventory of skills, knowledge, wisdom, and potential power. So the first key message to come from this author is where she reminds us that a good decision can have a bad outcome, and that doesn't mean you did it wrong. And this particular point, this unique point, feels like breathing in fresh air, because Duke teaches that outcome doesn't necessarily equal quality. Sometimes life just rolls the dice, and what we need to do is we need to let go of the guilt over the results that we just can't control. And this is, when it's all said and done, absolute freedom. The other point that the author makes quite aptly in this book is that we all need to stop aiming for certainty and to put more of our effort, to invest more of our time into aiming for clarity. This author in this book shows us that waiting for more information just masks fear, our sense of fear, and that most of the time we have more than enough information to move, and that clarity doesn't come from more information. Clarity actually comes from more action, not sitting on the fence. And this simple point helps change the way we approach everything, from relationships to work to our daily routines. So just taking action in and of itself is so powerful. The next message to come from this book is where the author invites us to embrace resulting, learning from it, but not living in it. Duke names something we all do. We judge our decisions solely by how they turned out. But if you made a thoughtful, intentional choice, you win already, even if the outcome sucks. And we don't really know and understand how much people actually need that permission, the permission to make a decision and to celebrate the fact that you made a decision. I remember working at IBM, and they said back in the day that the most important thing in an organisation is for people to make decisions and to take action and to move on from that, because that builds momentum, it creates outcomes, it creates options, and along the way you look at the outcomes and you ask yourself, is this what I wanted or not what I wanted? If it's not what you wanted, then you change your decision and you just do something different until you get to the point where you achieve what you wanted. The author also goes on to talk about decision trees and how a decision tree is not nerdy. They're actually powerful tools. She teaches us in this book how to map out options and weigh them without overthinking. Because what happens is when you write down your thoughts, assigning probabilities and checking your own biases, it becomes a game changer. And it's not rigid, it's empowering. So the invitation here is to learn how to build decision trees, how to weigh up options, how to weigh probabilities of outcomes happening, and to understand your plan A, your plan B, your plan C based on the outcomes of the decisions along the way. And the last point to come from this book is where the author reminds us yet again that decisions are where your life is actually made. Every turning point in your story isn't about fate. It's about choice and learning how to make better choices isn't just a productivity hack. It's more about self-respect. And this realization is really important and empowering for most people, because this book isn't about becoming a cold, calculated thinker. It's about becoming compassionate and a courageous thinker. And what it does, or what it hopefully does, is it turns fear into action, and that action into what we call forward motion. So thank you very much for joining me on this episode of Jim's 5am Club, where we've just stepped through a beautiful, a powerful book. Power to Decide by Annie Duke, published on the 13th of October 2020, the year of COVID, where lots of people made some productive decisions in terms of how to best use their time during the lockdowns, the uncertainty, and the tremendous amount of challenge that we all faced at that point in our lives. Take care, wishing you all the best, and we'll chat again soon. This is Jim signing off from Jim's 5am Club. Bye for now.